Hello everybody and welcome to Kdh Art Class. Okay, today's lesson is a little bit more advanced. We're going to be getting an introduction to how to make shapes look more 3D on our paper. So this is geared more towards my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So you're going to need a piece of paper. You're going to need, well, if you want, something to trace to make a circle. And you're basically just going to need your pencil. A drawing pencil is best, but a regular pencil will work. I went ahead and grabbed a black colored pencil to help me with the darker areas in case I need it. And for viewing video purposes, I'm going to be using a marker just so that you can see what I'm doing on my paper. Okay, so let's begin. Let's talk about the shapes we're going to do. When you get drawing videos, it has you start off with simple shapes to create your picture. Alright, so we're going to focus on this body part here. It looks like a bean, jelly bean, pinto bean, black-eyed pea, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to explain a little bit of how, when you're painting or drawing, you should use your lines to create that closer and further away look. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need to take your pencil and go ahead and trace something circular or not, just freehand it. It's always great practice. Alright, so I'm going to use my marker again so that you can kind of see what's going on. Now I'm going to make sure my circles, you don't touch each other. Leave a little space in between. That's how we're going to get that kidney bean look or jelly bean look for the body. Alright, then I'm going to drop it down a little bit like a smiley face on this side. And I'm coming from the top of it, following it down a little bit and coming up. It almost looks like a straight line, but it's not. Same with the bottom, kind of following it, and I'm going to drop it down and come back up following it that way. Alright, so now we need to start adding our lines. So if this is going to be the body of an animal, and again, it could be anything at this point, dog, cat, horse, you know, it has that shape. If I was to, you know, flatten it out more, then we're talking cow, bull, you know, adding the humps, you know, it could be pretty much any animal, giraffe, you know, this is just a general body shape. When you're looking at it, that means you have front legs and back legs, and on us it would be shoulders and hips. Okay. And the shoulders and the hips actually stick out more from the body. The body is further away in the middle belly area. So how do we get this flat piece of paper to look like that? Well, we need to work on our lines. So I'm going to do kind of a curved line. And notice I'm kind of following this one over here, this circle. And then I'm going to do another curved line that follows this one. Kind of in the middle, almost touching. It's okay if they touch. Just to get it going. I'm even going to add a few more lines in here that do end up touching. following those curves, because you shouldn't have that big space there in the middle. And same with the top, just give it a little curve. Looks like I'll only be able to get like 2 of them in here. There you go. Alright, so this is a little exaggerated, but it's to help you understand. Alright, from there, I'm going to follow that curve. And if you can, you want it to be a little bit further away. So a little bit bigger. And try and exaggerate this a little bit more so you kind of see it. And a little bit bigger. That's a bit bigger. Okay. And a little bit bigger, and I'm kind of bumping into it, but I'm not going to go in the circle. Okay. And just going to kind of follow along. Realistically, the legs will be covering up some of this, but we're not there. Okay, I need to repeat it on this other side. Now, I'm not good at drawing this way as well, so I'm just going to turn my paper, and it's going to be close to the center, a little further away, a little further away. As you're going along, and it's overly exaggerated. Again, I wanted you to see that it is really concentrating and going in here. You would probably, when you're doing the animal's body, leave that more open so that it looks more realistic. But right now, you can now see these seem closer and these seem further away. So now for the shoulders. Now I'm actually going to be changing this up a little bit. When you have a circle, you kind of have 2 choices on doing it. So we're going to do 2 different ways just so that you get an idea of what's going on. So this is just a weird organic type thing that we're creating. The first one is top to bottom. So these are kind of top to bottom, so I'm going to continue this one top to bottom. And I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to make what kind of looks like a lizard eye, cat eye, dragon eye, whatever. You have your 2 curves. So we're going to make them get closer and closer together as they get to the edges. So this is a pretty wide area, as long as I'm not that wide. And I curve it and bring it a little closer, 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 so that you kind of see what's going on here. So now you're seeing this kind of curve up. Actually, it looks kind of like an eyelid at this point to me. Same thing on this other side, curve, following this initial shape. Curve, curve, and you get the idea. Closer as you get to the edges. Okay. So now it's kind of out, and in. And I said I'm showing you 2 different ways. So here's another way. And it's all going to depend on what you are drawing or painting. Now the difference is here we're drawing the lines. You would be painting the paint in these directions to create that look. Alright, kind of like the same thing, except we're going the other direction. So same idea. It's a little bit further away. Oh, that's crazy looking. And that's too far away, but we're going to make it work. I don't have a choice. I have a marker. Can't erase. You get the idea. And again, turning my paper. Let's see if I can do a better job on this side. There we go. There we go. So better on that bottom section, so you can really see it coming out this way. So when you're changing directions, it really emphasizes this area. This might be a difference between the face and the eyeball, you know, of a creature, where the eyeball's really sticking out, be it like some sort of lizard or chameleon or something like that. And this, it's less obvious, more gradual. So you have different choices. Alright, when you are coloring this, you're going to do it a certain way, and we've reviewed this with like some of my videos doing the wormies and things like that. So here's the deal. On the edges, it's going to be darker, and then it's going to be lighter down the middle. My paper is white, so I am going to do some variation of gray to black and leave the white paper showing in part of it. In fact, I'm going to make the highlight be here, but keep in mind, if your light source is up here, you're going to want your highlight a little bit higher up. But for argument's sake, let's continue like we did with the wormies. Alright, so my wormies, I sat there, and this is where we can change colors so that you can, I like doing it with the different colors so you can kind of see the difference better. Again, you could just do black and white. In fact, I think I might do black and green just to show the difference. Let's say on this middle one, the edges, I'm going to do nice and dark with my black. In this case, I have the black colored pencil. On the edges, see where those are the edges there. Then I'm not going to push as hard, or if you're learning, this is where you would switch to a gray color pencil. Even your number 2 pencil would work. I don't like my graphite, it shines and makes it look funny, so I'm just going to have to be nicer to my pencil. Don't push as hard. And make a lighter area right next to the black area. So as it gets closer to the middle, it gets lighter. And you see how I'm not coloring in this middle area. Keep that white, or if you're using a colored paper, manila paper, gray paper, something, then use your white color pencil to really make it a bright white in there. So now here's kind of the catch. So you're going to do that all the way, but to kind of show you the difference, each little section, I'm going to be doing with my colors. You see how it's kind of the same, but it's going to get a little bit smaller. So I'm going to make my larger area, or my dark area, a little bit larger as I'm going towards this end. Why? Because I want this highlight to get smaller, smaller, and smaller until it disappears. What are you talking about? Don't even go there. Just bear with me. I'm going to explain through actual demonstration. So it's starting to come in here a little bit, followed by the lighter area. In this case, I changed pencils to the lighter green. Lighter green, and I kind of overdid it, but you can see that white area is a smaller circle than this white area, which is a much bigger circle. So at this point, because that is, there you go. Try and get the angle a little bit more so you can see it. So dark, light, white. You don't really have to have too much more than this. The more advanced students will blend it in so you don't see those areas quite as drastically separated. But this again is a practice, learning how to do it. Alright, if I continue with my green on this side, same kind of rules. I'm going to again shrink down the lighter area by adding more and more of the color. So you have less and less of the highlight. So it gets to be a smaller area. That's white. Making my darker a little bit bigger. The white, oh goodness, got crazy on that. And pretty soon there's going to be like no white little highlight. Or hardly any of that white showing. And voila. So because this is getting smaller, kind of like a triangle getting smaller. Let's see if I can match it up a little bit. Since that's getting smaller, it's going to make it look like there's less light, so this is getting further away. Okay. And then it's getting bigger. Again, you don't have to do colors. You could just stick with your darks. Honestly, as you get more and more advanced, you're not going to need these lines. These lines are your guides, your helpers, because you really don't want these lines in a realistic drawing unless they exist there. You can see those a little bit better. Probably should have started with the black pen. Oh well. Live and learn. Moving on, making my darker area more. My lighter area less. And my white area smaller. And continuing on, and continuing on. Okay, so we have these guidelines. So here's some things to think about. Notice I colored up and down like a fan, coloring up and down like a fan in each area. Never, never, never go across. No, 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 no. You want to go with these guidelines. That's why they're here. They kind of help you remember which direction to go. You don't want to mess it up and go the other direction. It won't look correct. When I'm going this way, I'm no, no, no. I'm not going to go up and down. I'm going to go with it. So I have to either turn my paper or I now have to go side to side. But I want to stay in these areas and again use them as my guidelines. So as you're going along, darker on the edges, it gets a little bit lighter, and then you have your white highlight in all of your areas. So again, you have less of a highlight in there. Your highlight areas should be kind of lining up to where the light hits. In this case, the light is coming straight on to give you that. I wanted to keep it more simple. So over here, again, I turned my paper so I can follow just the same rules. I get my dark and be more gentle on my pencil, and I go light, and I leave the center white. And notice I'm not keeping it a straight line either. It's kind of a zigzaggy looking area that I've colored in, like this. Okay, it should not be a straight line where you have your color against the white. Okay, no, 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 no. Okay, you want to try and focus more on that. So it doesn't matter what colors you're using. I keep bumping my little table protector here. I could be doing it with this reddish orange. Change it to an orange. You get the same idea. Make the white smaller. I can even alternate it, which is always fun, just to change it up so you don't get bored and to help you resist the temptation of trying to scribble scrabble the whole thing in. Be patient, take your time. If you need to take a break, take a break. I like with the colors to just use the colored pencils that are paired up light and dark. Obviously, don't have as much of that choice with the black. My highlight's going in a crazy direction. But again, you can see how it brings it, what I call bring it to life. It's starting to look more real. And of course, as you're working your way along, that little highlight is basically just going to go away. And if you think about it, the sun shining down on it can't shine on the bottom of the beach ball per se. So you kind of see some different ways, but ultimately you are starting to understand how we start creating this three-dimensional look. Alright, I want you to look at your shapes, add your lines, and start experimenting with your flat objects turning three-dimensional. So basically you're using your elements of line to create space. your second element, which is what describes the coming towards you and going further away, the space. It looks like it's coming off the paper at you. All right, good luck and enjoy your lesson.